Welcome to episode 3 of Second
How
Draft
come you
Cinema.
always do the? How come you always do the intros? How come I can't do an intro?
Because you've never taken it and made it your own.
Fair enough. Okay.
You haven't. To be
Okay.
fair.
No. I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
To be fair.
Plus, this was your idea, so you're the one who's in charge. I get it.
Well, plus, based on your history and your comments about the show, this is the first podcast we've ever done together. So this is only the third time I've ever actually done an opening with you.
No, I have no problem talking about armchair directors.
Italicized letters, touche.
No, look, we can talk about armchair directors. It's just that these are two separate podcasts. Yes, they're both about movies, and yes, it's both about us. And yes, we are looking at it from the lens of writers, but they're two completely different things.
Then okay, so if they're two completely different things, why are you suddenly merging them when it comes to the intro?
Because I just
shouldn't they be independent of each other?
I want to do an intro. That's what I want a chance to shine.
You can do the intro for Dominion.
Oh, can I do Fallen Kingdom, please?
Yeah, we'll get you an intro. We'll get you an intro.
Oh, so, yay!
Yay! Yes.
You can continue. You can continue the intro now.
So, last episode was a all-timer for us, I will say.
Oh, it was a downer.
It was kind of a downer, wasn't it?
Well, actually, no. It was fun for me to record, but
yeah,
on reflection.
Well, so last episode we actually talked about it several times during the movie. It's still a fun movie to watch. Like, it's still like entertainment. I'm still like giggling. There's still
and for anyone who's listening, who's watching these out of order, what we're talking about is when we did Jurassic Park 2, not the Lost World : Jurassic Park.
Yeah, and the title of the episode also makes sense. And the title, if nobody's watched it, the title of the episode is Great Dinos, Good Cast, Bad Movie. What happened? Basically. And that's yep. And of course you need to watch the episode if you haven't to figure it out, because Rich and I, we talked off camera. We hammered it home what happened. Like we hey, now to be fair, in the description for our show, it says nothing is safe. And that we are going to be brutally honest, because we are passionate movie fans. I mean, that's a part of this show. We're not just going to say it's amazing because it's a Jurassic Park movie,
or because it's Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think we did last week justice, but this week I'm feeling good.
You are?
I'm feeling really good because JP3, Jurassic Park 3, and we've talked about this ad nauseum on our own. It is still somehow an underrated gem.
Yes, but it is one of those movies that gets more love as the years go by.
Yeah, no, it is. It absolutely
very much like the Pierce Brosnan era of James Bond.
100%. Yep.
And it's also the first of the Jurassic Parks where they went, yeah, we're going creature feature. We're just here for dumb fun.
Yeah.
We're not doing the wonder of dinos. We're here for scares. We also
had a director that understands how to make fun, good and entertainment. He knows how to make entertainment.
I mean,
he was Joe Johnston was the Rocketeer, right? As well.
Yes, he directed the Rocketeer. He also directed Captain America: The First Avenger.
Captain America: First Avenger, so which is by all accounts one of the greatest Marvel movies ever made, just because of what it means to the universe. Not just because it wasn't a good movie, but it
gave us one hell of a villain performance from Hugo Weaving.
Oh yeah, and Chris. I mean, Sebastian Stan. It was great.
No, Stanley Tucci, come on, Stanley Tucci.
Stanley Tucci's great in everything he does.
I love the story that the only reason Stanley Tucci is in Captain America: The First Avenger is because he wanted to practice a German accent on camera.
I mean,
he was offered
I
the
never said, wow, Stanley's really like bogging. Like, I'm like, Stanley's great. It's like,
yeah, I know, but I love
fun.
this. I heard this recently, the story recently, and I just sit there and go,
It
makes sense. Yeah, because actors have been in movies for worse reasons.
Yeah, and then you get what was it? I'm trying to think of the actor. Oh, what was it? It was John Wayne, right? John Wayne was playing Genghis Khan.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's like you could have gotten that level of performance with, oh, I want to do a German accent because it's going to be fun on camera, and then him just completely and utterly slaughter it. But Tucci's Tucci, and he just
Well, it could have been worse. It could have been Sean Connery as Marco Ramius in Red October. I'm supposed to be Russian. I'm not going to bother trying a Russian accent.
Or Sean Connery being made up as an Asian man.
Oh, where he's what was it, Rising Sun, where he has to speak Japanese, and
Wasn't
even
it,
all
wasn't it You Only Die Twice?
Oh, yeah, but that's a
Like
disguise.
the eyebrows and like the
Yeah, I
weird,
know
that
that doesn't last long. Though that doesn't last long. No,
no, but
best
you're
shot,
like, what are they going with this? Like, where is this going?
But it was a different time. It was a different
It
time.
was a
We
different
can't
era.
judge. We can't judge
It's
to
a
our
different era.
lofty standards. But I mean, my favorite Sean Connery one is Rising Sun. This thing is called Rising Sun. He plays a guy, a white guy living in Japan, and he's got to speak Japanese. So you got Sean Connery with the most sounding accent of all time, having to speak Japanese, and all the Japanese actors, you can see them going, "What language is that? That's supposed to be Japanese? Okay, just
We
nod."
should get him and Uncle Benny together.
No, no. Uncle Benny is not Japanese. He's Chinese.
Fried rice, you plick.
Wait, is he Chinese or Japanese?
He's Chinese.
See, it wouldn't work then.
Because it's the triads, right?
Yeah. Triads is Chinese. Yakuza is Japanese.
Yeah.
So
and
with
for
that,
anyone, specifically Lethal Weapon 4 is what we're talking about with Uncle Benny and the fried rice you plick.
I thought we were talking
because
like you are fired.
Mel calls it fried rice.
Yeah.
And he says it's fried rice you plick.
Yeah,
that's what Benny comes back with. And I'm just like, pulling on my heart.
But see, that was a golden era for certain styles of movie. You had Lethal Weapon 4, you had the Rush Hours.
Yeah, the action comedies. Yeah.
But but specifically the action comedies focusing on Asian characters.
Oh, yeah. Oh. And then Team America.
Jeez, with Kim, yeah, but that's not early 2000s. That's not like late 1990s, early 2000s. That's a little down the line. And I mean,
this was the same time frame. This was what, 2001?
This
JP3 was because JP2 was 97.
No, this is 2001.
2001. Yeah. So
2001. There was a bit of a break.
More, we'll get into it, but this is more modern, still great animatronics, but this is definitely where they start to lean into CGI more, because CGI took a huge leap in
but also it also was a time crunch. Also in certain regards, it was easier to do CGI for some of the things they wanted to get done.
And that's what happens when you also do bring in a new creative team too, or at least
I know,
partially new creative team. So they're gonna make it their own in some way, shape, or form. They're gonna do it, and you know what? We can just get into it, because I know we are going to just absolutely.
I was trying to steer us into pushing play.
We're okay. We're okay. We're doing well. We're doing well. So go ahead and hit it.
Yes, sir.
You did it.
I did it. It's playing. See, off the mark, when you've got the Universal logo opening and you've got the music already tells you we're in for a different thing. It's already setting up. And I have to admit, I always did like, you got the ripples, but from the footsteps of the T-Rex, like they really lean into, this is fun. This is dumb fun.
Yeah, this movie immediately comes off completely different than the first two.
It's almost
immediately.
It's almost like Deep Rising from Steven Sommers. See, that alone, that the title and then the 3 claw scratches, that tells you everything.
Yeah.
About,
No, and it does. This movie to me is also what will opinion on the feel of the film, or the feel of the movie is Fallen Kingdom.
Yes. Yeah.
And it just had a completely different feel to it, but it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just like every other
a different creative team again. So
yeah, but just like every other Jurassic Park movie and Jurassic World movie, got to have that family element. Got to have a kid.
Here's the accent I was talking about.
But that actor, he's a Latino actor, so
I know, but dude,
he's also
maybe I'm just really white. But
yes, you are.
Are they really? Is he really going to talk like that?
Okay, here's the thing.
Is he really going to talk like he belongs in like the Bronx and he's
but
like
he's putting it up for these, he's putting the accent on though. He's making it more for their experience. And I tell you why. With my day job, depending on what kind of people we have on the tour, either I'm going to talk normally like this, or I'm going to go a bit more Steve-O and Ocker, where we throw in a bit more of the g'days and all that sort of stuff. So he's probably seen these two guys on. Yeah, they're whiter.
That's got to be painful for you to do.
Not really.
Because I know you hate that.
No, it's not that I hate it. You know, it's just
give me a Paul Hogan one day. Come back to me and say, Matt, I went full Paul Hogan, and you'll be proud of me. Because as a normal born and bred American,
we don't go Paul Hogan.
Australia was Paul Hogan, and
no, we go Steve Irwin. I go more Steve Irwin than I go Paul Hogan.
Yeah, because he is more Bush.
Excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, Paul Hogan isn't actually doing what you would call a Ocker accent. He's just doing a Bogan accent.
Gotcha.
Where Steve Irwin, he's very much just turning up your Aussie dialect all the way up.
I love Hogan's. Hogan's accent to me growing up was, and it was his charm. Like just,
yeah.
He had that. Yeah. He was cool.
And no, we are not doing the Crocodile Dundee movies. We are not doing the Crocodile Hunter movie either.
No, we don't have to do the Crocodile Dundee was.
No, we're not doing the Crocodile Dundee movie. I have gone 38 years without seeing that movie, and I'm happy with that.
That's a knife.
But here's the funny thing. Not every Australian has seen that movie. Not every Australian will see that movie. It's not part of our makeup. It's not like something you have to watch.
No, it's, and of course, me, you, and specifically Ernest Dempsey, Ernie, that's also our love of not really teasing you, but of constantly talking to you about Foster's.
Foster's or the Great Emu War that Ernie brought up the other day.
The Great Emu War. Which
came out of nowhere. There was no context to him saying it.
Yeah.
Now, back to the movie. The one of the great things they did was, and they did it right, they brought back Sam Neill.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, we couldn't have another dour Goldblum.
No, but even if it wasn't, it's like, so, but what would have been plan C at that point? You know what I mean? So it's like, if Sam was like, no, is Jurassic Park done?
Well, then they would have probably gone, let's come up with some new characters and make it tangentially related to those who have been in it.
I guess.
Something like that.
Maybe they would have focused more, like this movie, they would have focused more on Site B.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's kind of like what they did with
that characters that were on Site B when the mayhem.
Well, it's like what we're getting with Rebirth. You know, like when Jurassic World, they introduce new characters who we follow. Now Rebirth, we've got a whole different cast altogether. So they are,
Rebirth is essentially a hard. It's a hard reboot without the traditional hard reboot.
Well, it's not even a reboot. It's now a spin-off from.
Yeah, okay.
So it's a spin-off. It's not a reboot. It's a spin-off because it's taking place after Dominion.
Yeah.
And I mean, first time I saw this movie and this scene's happening, you have that reaction, which is, what, they didn't end up together? Which I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing.
I'm curious. That is something that I would love to be able to ask Joe, screenwriters, everybody, script writers, is was there a version of this movie where they
Where
were
they were,
together that you chose not to do, or was it always Sam being single or Alan being single
I
and
reckon
her
there probably
being
was. I reckon there
somewhere?
was a version of the script where they were together
Because
and
then you
it
had
worked.
Billy, so you still had room for the B sidekick, which
Hmm,
could have just been her.
but exactly.
Because Billy ends up, if
But
hopefully
then
people watching this have seen
because
this movie, Billy ends up, you're sitting here going, that would have been the eventual Owen Grady character, like the next generation of
yeah,
Jurassic, and it didn't pan out. So
no,
kind of
but
like what they
also
tried to do with Mutt Williams and
yeah,
in
but
Indiana Jones
also
and stuff. It's like,
Alessandro Navalio, who plays Billy,
mhm.
you kind of get the thing that he's a one and done actor.
It kind of hit, yeah.
Because apart from one or two moments Billy has, he's not overly memorable.
No, but they kind of set this up as obviously Alan being his mentor and kind of
Yeah,
teaching him the ropes. So it feels like, and especially with the legendary Alan Grant, it feels like this was supposed to be a setup for an eventual torch passing.
yeah, yeah.
And it just, and again,
But that's also
this movie
part of the
did
problem,
not,
though.
this movie did not do
No,
huge
no,
box office numbers either. That's
no,
why it took so
no.
long to
But
get
also, you
Jurassic
think
World.
about when you get to the end of the movie where it's a sudden cut to black. It's not really wrapped up properly. It's not
Yeah,
a good ending.
no.
All of those sort of things can, I reckon if they gave it more time, they probably had bigger budget. They weren't rushed, whatever the multiple reasons were. I'm pretty sure they would have given that having the torch passed between Anna or Anna and Billy. But also, I'm pretty sure Billy was always meant to die, and then they brought him back for that little bit at the end. Because as I was saying in our last episode, Billy's our human villain. If he doesn't
Yeah.
do the one thing he does, they're not getting chased.
Mhm.
I'm trying not to give away spoilers for those who haven't watched the movie yet.
No. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, that would be some great conversation, some great questions to ask because again, that is
Well, that's the thing.
that's us
If
coming
it's
back to the kind of the reason we want to do this show is the what ifs and the changes that
that's
we
the thing.
could
That's the
make,
thing.
but it's also
Like,
questions why they didn't do it originally.
if you have Alan and Ellie together, going back to the island together,
Mm.
Ellie isn't going to take the eggs.
No.
So you either have to have another character do it, or you have to come up with another threat that's chasing them. That's not
This
just.
is a great monologue. I love
Oh,
this quote. Great
we had the
quote.
monologue. This is just the line. I have to admit, the introduction to the mercenaries is always fun.
Yeah. Good music too. A little more kind of playful, but still
Yeah. Well,
serious. But
it's not John. This is not. This is the first of the movies that John Williams didn't compose for.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I think it was Don Davis who did the music for this one. I think.
Yeah, this was a big detractor from traditional Amblin Spielberg movie.
Yeah. Yeah. So Joe Johnson directed, written by Peter Buckman, Alexander Payne.
Yeah, David Kep wasn't involved.
Yeah, Jim Taylor, he co-wrote it, but it was produced by Kathleen Kennedy.
Well, yeah, that's a given. That's all Amblin. I mean, that's all those.
Don Davis was the composer of the music for this movie.
Frank Marshall too, probably, or was he not attached?
No, he wasn't.
Okay. I keep forgetting they're married, right? Or were married?
Yeah.
Are married?
No, they are.
They are.
Still.
Frankie Kathleen Kennedy, yeah. No, I've actually seen that was the shoulder fired 50 cal, even though it's anti-tank. It's not a real gun. Either way, Brandon Herrera, the AK guy on YouTube, has a video with, I can't remember what the actual weapon is called. It's a 50 caliber rifle, but it's actually like shoulder fired, almost like a rocket launcher,
Yeah,
like how that was, where it's up on the shoulder. And it was
yeah,
made to be able to hold it and fire it while standing up and like walking,
yeah.
which 50 cals are designed for like mounting, like bipod stuff. And he did a whole video of that, like trying to actually like fire it from the shoulder. And
I
it
saw,
was,
I saw, I saw clips of that.
it was very entertaining, like always. But yeah, yeah, like those rounds that they were showing, I'm like, I couldn't tell you. It looked like a grenade of some kind, but it wasn't. I don't know.
I can tell you what it was.
I don't. It was probably based on something because I don't. I know a decent amount about firearms, but that doesn't feel like one that feels like a Hollywood prop, like actual Hollywood prop. Like I don't
Well,
think
yeah,
that's actually.
of course you do. Of course you. Well, of
Oh, here
course you
comes more
know a lot
technology for Alan Grant.
about guns.
I'm an American,
Okay, so
specifically a Floridian.
so they call it an iron horn 20 millimeter. So they call it an iron horn 20 millimeter in the movie,
Yes.
but it's a Barrett M82A2 50
Yeah,
caliber
it's
sniper
50
rifle.
cal. Yeah. Yeah. So it's
Yeah,
just a traditional. It's a regular 50 cal that they just gissy up and dress it up to make it
yeah,
look cooler. Because those rounds, that is not
yes,
what a 50 caliber round looks like.
no,
50 cal
no.
rounds are
It's
huge and they're really cool, but it doesn't look like it's not a
it.
tube.
They say it fires 20 millimeter high explosive incendiary rounds
Yeah,
in the movie. That's what they say it fires.
of course.
Yeah,
I mean, a 50 cal would rip through a dinosaur, but I don't know why it needs to be a tank round or obviously anti-tank round. Well, that's why it's called an anti-material rifle. Is 50 cals are not designed to be shot at people; they're made to be shot at
yeah,
vehicles, like to disable engines and stuff. That's why it's
yeah.
called an
You fire 50 cal at a person, you're just going to go.
Yeah, those are other videos that Brandon does and Grand Thumb and a few of the gun
Yeah,
tubers watching what happens when you hit a ballistic dummy with these
yeah.
big rounds. It's as violent as you thought you would think it is. They're not designed for it. They're designed for, that's why they're called anti-material.
Yeah.
This was
This was
upon first watch, this was one of the more unique on-screen couples I can in memory.
well, this is my introduction. This was my introduction to William H. Macy.
Probably the same for me now that I'm thinking about it, but
Because it was this, and then the next thing I saw him in that I distinctly remember, it was Mystery Men.
Mystery Men. He did a movie with John Travolta, I believe, where they were lawyers, and it was James Gandolfini was in it. As it was a based on a true story thing with like toxic waste in a town's water supply, and they were
Okay.
there. They were, I think it was John Travolta, and he was. It was like a law firm, so it was the partners, and it was them basically bankrupting their law firm because they believed in this case. And
Okay.
I remember seeing, I can't remember what it was called, but that was kind of, I'm sure it was this movie was the first one, but I'm not sure. Now I'm curious because that movie has come up in my head a few times, mostly because of him. Um,
Well,
yes.
William H. Macy is a good actor, and I mean,
Oh yeah.
I do enjoy
Matteo Leone
like
is great.
This sequence is great because he's putting forth the whole, like, yep, this is what we are, and he's doing it and then every time she talks,
Oh, he was in Fargo
she's
too. That's right.
yeah, but
Yeah.
when this came out, I was too young to have watched Fargo, so come on.
Gotcha. Yeah.
This is 2001. I was um I was 15 years old.
Such a wee lad.
Yeah.
Such a wee lad. Oh, that's right. He was in Wild Hogs. That was after this, though.
Come on, come on, come on, come on. Exposition time.
Yeah. This is good exposition. Yeah.
And of course, the one scene in the movie everyone remembers for the complete and utter wrong reasons. Alan.
Oh, yeah. That was a little
That's the thing. This movie is great. Even with this scene, this moment coming up, it still is a good movie. Come on. Eyes off the phone, buddy. Come on. We're supposed to be talking about this movie.
No, I know. I'm trying to figure out what.
Figure out what this movie was in your own time, not on our viewers' time.
Oh, a civil action. I think it's a civil action, if I'm not mistaken, because that is John Travolta in him. So, anyways, that was bothering me because it was a good cast.
I am so glad we got to the bottom of that.
We did.
You've enriched my life. You've enriched my life.
Okay, so this is supposed to be us watching a movie together and like kind of like the normal thing that we do, and that's what we do.
No. Yeah, no. Remember, people who are watching us doing this, no one wants to see you sitting there like this and me going, pay attention to the movie.
Come on. Good bit actor.
Who?
The guy that was in the back right there. I can't remember his name. The actor's
Michael
name.
Jeter.
Yeah, Michael Jeter is Michael Jeter. The other guy, the Nash, I think his name is. Nash is the black guy.
No, Nash is not the black guy.
Nash is not the black guy?
No. That's Nash.
Okay. So him.
Yes.
Yes.
And with those following along at home,
yes,
we just started including a game. How many character names can we screw up in one episode?
I know. No, Michael Jeter's great too.
Yeah.
That's a good just sprinkle of upcoming danger, what's going to happen.
Showing that everything that he said that they had permission, they had all this, totally don't.
No. Yeah.
It just proves to quote the movie itself, it just shows you can't trust people.
100%. Can't. This is a great scene coming up because you so far Alan has just been very much like
he's anti everything. Yeah, and this shows his love for the dinosaurs properly.
Yes. This is his childhood love for all of this.
He even says that they forgot how beautiful they were.
Yeah.
That's a nice shot.
Yeah. It's another great shot of the camera going up and down the aisle as the dialogue changes.
That line from Nash is good. You see anything, shout, let us know. No, I'm just going to keep it to myself.
Keep it to myself. Yeah.
And then that he's trying, just as he's fading the black, it's
his POV. Yeah.
Yeah, just that from
because that was an interesting creative choice too, doing it from Alan's POV.
But that's the great thing about Joe Johnson. He doesn't do your stock standard stuff.
Yeah.
I think this is one of those movies where we won't be talking as much throughout it because we both so love the movie.
Yeah, we both like the movie a lot. So, who hit me?
Oh no, yeah, Cooper, not Nash. Yeah, you're right. No, you were right. Nash was the one piloting.
Yeah, he's the pilot.
Yeah, I was wrong. See, I'm a big enough man.
Nash is only reserved for white people.
No, Nash was not white.
No, that's what I said. Nash is. I'm like, no, Nash is the black guy, and you're like, no, he's not.
I don't see color.
No. I am colorblind.
I am colorblind. Everything's gray to me.
Yeah.
Just different shades. And this is good. I like that.
I like that. The hint that there's something else out there.
Yeah, it's just it just gets into it so quickly. If this was like
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg and an original code doing
It would be a
it, you get
slower
at least
burn.
40, 30, 40 an hour of
Yeah.
this.
This honestly feels like the way the pacing is. This feels like something that I would write, where I'm like,
yeah,
we're getting into it. Like we're gonna just get into it, and then it's
okay.
the aftermath.
You're 3 movies in. Everyone
Yeah.
knows what's coming. So why
You don't have to keep slow burning.
why dance around it? You
Not the
just
same
get
dinosaurs, but you don't have to keep slow burning dinosaurs. Just bring it in.
yeah. Yeah, that's it. You know, people are here for the dinosaurs.
Mhm.
They don't. It's like Godzilla. People are here for the monsters. We don't care about the humans.
How do you get so far ahead of the plane?
Cooper doesn't. Cooper doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how he got up there.
Cooper should have kept running.
No, because Cooper knew what was coming.
Not another tree. Great line. Great
The
delivery.
delivery.
Yeah, the
That's the
delivery.
thing. Sam Neill was king of that deadpan.
Yeah. I'm really interested to see the reintroduction of the Spinosaurus in Rebirth coming up.
I'm just keen for everything Rebirth.
Yeah. I think as of recording this episode, so whenever it's released for everyone watching, the actual full-length trailer comes out well, technically today, based on the time. It comes out May 15th, I believe, is the May 15th in the US is the full-length trailer. From what I understand. So
I've said ooh more than enough times. You don't need to keep going on about it.
I remember I saw
it.
this scene for the first time. That shot right there with it, just you're looking straight down the gullet in this thing, and it being an animatronic.
Yeah, now that shot.
Yeah.
That shot of with the camera stationary as they're falling, way better than the same shot of the thing going around Ian, Harding, and Nick in
Yes.
Lost World. This version was way better.
Yes. And then
because I didn't care about the others in Lost World.
It's true. That was a great one with Alan screaming in the window as it's rolling.
Let's think. Joe Johnston's perfect for this style of movie. You know, a bit cartoonish and just hella fun.
Yeah.
And that William H. Macy comes out, sees the dinosaur, and goes,
nope.
That's the thing. It's what any of us would do.
Yeah. And when it starts rolling,
the crushing, like this is good. Like where you're just getting those glimpses of it.
Yeah.
Although when I first saw this movie, it pissed me off big time. So we'll be right back once Matt finishes enjoying the carnage.
It's good. What can I say?
Yeah, no.
Dinosaurs.
But I was saying that this movie pissed me off so much for something that's coming up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It pissed everyone off who's the right age.
Yeah, they did him dirty.
Yeah, they did it wrong.
Yeah. Again, this is one of those movies where, like, the things that are. This is a great shot too, with it going back.
Yeah, just going through everyone.
Getting everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then finishing on Alan.
Yeah. Great. But this is one of those movies where.
Sorry. He just says, I think we lost it. Then we get this. Just the escalation.
And Alan's like, oh,
Yeah.
crap.
No, he's not saying crap.
No.
But you're saying.
The fear of death right there.
And I understand why they did this. I understand why they had this fight and how the outcome is. It's all for the story. But
yeah, because you
still,
have to prove the Spinosaurus is worthy of being the big baddie.
Growing up with the Jurassic Park movies, the T-Rex is the ultimate dino, and then this happens. As a kid, you feel like Don Corleone in Godfather Part 1, where he's there going, look what they did to my boy.
Yeah.
And then just to make it worse, you get this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a and that cut to the sound of it snapping on the T-Rex to him being punched is good.
Yeah.
But what were you saying before?
No, I said this is one of those movies where there's not a ton wrong with it, and the stuff that is wrong with it doesn't really ruin it for me.
No.
And
as far
as that's why I'm not talking as much, is because I'm enjoying it, because there isn't so many things where I'm like,
even in JP in Jurassic Park 1, we talked very much consistently. So what you're really saying, this is your favorite movie out of the trilogy?
No, we were gushing over the first one. I guess it was a different mindset too. So
we hadn't had our pre-recording conversation, we'd be in a different mindset.
Possibly. Cheater. You mean there's 2 islands of dinosaurs on them? Apparently there's 3.
Cinco. It's the island. The Appalachia is called Muertos, which is 5 deaths. So there's actually 5 islands.
John Hammond was an a-hole.
No, John Hammond just knew good business. Remember, he was renting those. He was renting those from the Costa Rican government. He spared no expense.
Yeah, it's true.
I still reckon the next movie should be called Jurassic World. Spared no expense.
Yeah.
And you make it the cheapest looking movie out of the bunch.
The direction that they're going.
So, about to try this one.
Oh. Rich is dabbling in the his White Claw era, as Taylor Swiftie fans would say. It's his White Claw era.
Well, I've seen YouTubers talk about White Claw. I've seen you drink White Claw. We finally got it in Australia, so I had to see what all the fuss was about. It's very fussable.
Yeah, it's fussable. It's good. It's better than it used to be. When White Claw first came out, it was kind of gross. It had that malty, like, fake alcohol aftertaste.
Oh no. But, okay.
Yeah.
This is better.
Yeah.
This one is better than the mango.
Yeah, sparkling anything in lime is kind of hard to screw up. Yeah, it's a good combination.
Oh no, that's really really nice.
See, when this movie first came out, Suchomimus, I thought that they were making up the names on the fly, because I only knew like the more traditional dinosaurs. Because growing up,
as you get into dinos properly, you start learning about all of them. You play Jurassic World Evolution 1 and 2.
Yeah, because like Suchomimus is essentially Spinosaurus. It's a little smaller, but it doesn't have the big back sail. It might have a small type of like spinal ridge, but it
Ridge, but
doesn't have the
not
big
the
sail. But
sail.
it has the snout. That's why Billy does
Yeah.
the snout thing, Suchomimus. But
So,
then when he
and
says Spinosaurus aegypticus,
yeah,
I'm like, what? Like,
but see, in this world, the Spinosaurus is a new dinosaur. The one that they have. That's why they're trying to name it.
no. They're actually so the way I eventually realized this because they said that wasn't on InGen's list.
List,
So the
yeah.
whole idea is that Spinosaurus aegypticus is a real dinosaur that they know about, and they were trying to figure out like
What?
what is it on the island. They weren't
Yeah.
naming it. They were trying to identify it for their own sake. That's why he says
And based on
Suchomimus.
the InGen list. Yeah, no, that makes more sense.
Yeah, they weren't naming it because Spinosaurus was
Sorry. One of the best interactions in the whole movie. Sorry to interrupt, but this is definitely one of the best interactions in the whole movie.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying
so normal. No, I have it in my I have it in my book Fracture. At the end, I have a basically a bibliography type list
but
of all the
see,
dinosaurs they used.
you got what, 36 dinosaurs?
No, not that many, about 20,
26?
22, 23, but
Yeah.
1912, Spinosaurus aegypticus was first discovered.
But you didn't include the irritator.
No. I was gonna leave that for you. I was gonna give that.
Oh, when I eventually get Carnage Island done, I mean, yeah. Hell, you know what? I'm not even going to put it in Carnage Island. Stealing the Sun. I'm going to have a irritator appear randomly in Egypt.
We haven't even announced that project.
Fine, I'll just bleep it out in the edit.
No, I don't care. Okay, it's something that Rich and I are working on for the future. We'll just leave it at that. Because the future might be like 4 or 5 months from now. It could be 4 or 5 years from now. Who knows?
It could be last week, as far as you know, viewers.
That's true.
See, this character, Tia Leone's character, could have been so annoying, but she knew what the assignment was.
Yeah. And she also passed the scream test.
Oh, she's a good screamer.
She's a good screamer. Yeah. That was I think we've mentioned her in every episode, but that was Allison Duty. No, it wasn't Allison Duty. It was Kate Capshaw.
Kate Capshaw, yeah.
Where they had to
first
teach her
time
how to scream.
this is the first time we've mentioned Capshaw.
Yeah, we mentioned Willie because we were talking about the female lead introduction in Indy on last episode. But we didn't.
That was tangent. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
but we've mentioned the very lovely Allison Duty a couple of times.
Yeah, I think Kate in the making said they had to teach her how to scream.
Yes. Yeah, she wasn't a screamer.
No.
Which very understandable.
Yeah, I mean it's and her film background at the time too was very indie serious type thing. So
yeah,
she wouldn't have had
also,
to.
Also, being able to scream is a skill.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I mean, you know, you look at now. I don't know how to say this, but Basinger.
I say Basinger. But
yes, I was just doing a Family Guy joke there, but Kim Basinger in Batman '89, you know, she had to scream a lot.
Yeah. Well, her voice is very distinct too because it's very hoarse.
You mean Tia Leone?
Tia Leone's, yeah. Sorry.
No, I wouldn't say hoarse. I'd say husky. She's more on the husky side,
like the rasp.
Like Lauren Bacall, Kathleen Turner, that sort of huskiness.
Yeah, yeah.
But a little bit more shrill than Kathleen Turner and Lauren Bacall.
Yeah, but that's where the scream is really like.
Oh yeah, you know it's a Tia Leone scream. It's not some other person who's coming in ADR'd it.
No. Yeah, her voice is husky. Yeah, you're right. That's a good description for it. I was trying to think. because it does have a little bit more bass to it too when she speaks.
Yes, but I mean, I always love the story Kathleen Turner tells, because she gets mistaken for Lauren Bacall when she's on the phone, and she met Lauren Bacall once. She knows Lauren Bacall. They hung out, and in this interview, she was asked, "So, what did you and Lauren Bacall do?" And she goes, "We had a voice off to see who could have who could speak in the deepest register."
That's funny.
Naturally, the follow up was, "And who won?" And Kathleen Turner said, "I did." Whereas when Laura Bacall gets asked, she said, "I won."
Of course. And there is something to be said about short hair Leone.
Oh yeah.
I love a good I love a good pixie kind of.
I think her best short hair look is in Bad Boys 1.
Yeah.
That's a good movie for.
I think I don't know if it's my favorite, but it might be my favorite short-haired female. Like,
oh, what about Sandra?
No, Halle Berry, Swordfish.
In Halle Berry in Flintstones movie.
Oh gosh, yeah.
That was a movie that
Sharon Stone isn't her name Sharon Stone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And that was a movie that went.
That was Halle Berry short hair era.
Yes, and if you were the right age when you saw that movie, certain emotions came up that you'd never felt before.
Yep. Although I also watched a lot of Desperado when I was a kid, so I had a lot of emotion.
So if you had Selma Hayek with that sort of short hair, you would be in heaven. That's what you're saying.
Any type of Selma Hayek. She is the cover model for Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Edition this year.
Good for her.
On the cover. Yeah, oh yeah.
It's amazing what money can achieve. This is a rollicking good movie.
Yeah, the pacing of this movie is awesome.
It just goes.
Yeah. Because it's exploration.
That was always the issue I had with Lost World.
That was a great shot with Alan looking through the window and the camera positioned. Again, that's Joe Johnston.
Like this whole sequence in the lab is good. But that was the problem with Lost World. There were too many long moments of crap and nothing happening.
Yeah. Like this, I want to see more. Because right now, we're in Site B, and I want to see more of all of this.
Yeah.
I want to see, because I want to find those Easter eggs. I want to picture what it looked like.
We're not pausing the movie, so you can focus.
I want to picture it before.
Oh yeah,
it went to crap and turned into this, like what it looked like.
It would be like how it is in Jurassic Park, where you see behind the scenes everything's pristine, everything's clean, it's busy. The hints, the foreshadows, all that sort of stuff.
Foreshadowing in this movie, and this is great. This is such a great little sequence here.
Yes, like the character moments in this movie outclass the character moments in Lost World.
In this movie, they actually outclass the characters.
Yes,
honestly.
Well, except for Roland,
right here. No, this movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, yeah. These characters aren't on a pedestal. These are just your regular bozos who are in way over their head.
But they're, like I said, the character moments outshine the characters themselves in a lot of this, because the writing was actually very good.
A lot of the humor came from Alexander Payne's contributions, which if Alexander Payne is one of those indie weird comedy darlings, and it's amazing when you see these sort of people write on this sort of movie. You sit there, this is a paycheck for them, but they still bring in that great quality. And for anyone who could hear that in the background, that is what's called a gray-crested babbler at my window trying to get my attention.
I can't hear it.
Right. So yeah, my microphone's not picking it up. Good.
Yeah.
This is good though with the evolution, the different growth of.
That's a Spinosaurus. Because of you could tell by the way the spine is.
And this was the first of the Jurassic Park movies to start going a bit more with the scientific discoveries at the time.
Yeah, they really started to evolve the raptors.
See, but then
Such
when you
a
get
great jump scare.
And then when you get to Jurassic World, though, they just don't bother.
No.
Like they just stick with the traditional classic depiction of raptors, except for Dominion when you get the Utah raptor.
Dominion
Is that you?
Pyroraptor.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one.
But then
which raptor.
But then it swims under the water, and I'm kind of confused on whether I initially went
accept
that's
it.
stupid, but then I'm like, I don't
No,
know.
I accept it. I accept it because it's not underwater for too long, and it's a cool sequence.
Well, yeah, it was cool, but
yeah, remember from this movie on,
I think there were so many things that pulled me out of that movie. By the time that scene happened, I didn't really care.
But here's the thing, though. From this movie on, they focused more on the rule of cool.
Yeah.
Which I'm all in for, especially Fallen Kingdom.
No, this movie being more of the creature thriller, they went with what's cool.
Yeah.
They did.
And Jurassic World, they kind of lost it a little bit because they were too beholden to Jurassic Park 1. But Fallen Kingdom, chef's kiss.
Yeah. I do like how they're focusing in this movie. They focused on the raptors not just as
monsters.
They focused on them as
a team, a family.
Yeah.
A tribe? Pack. Well, that's what Muldoon talks about.
But at the beginning of the movie, you also have Alan at the university talking about how if extinction didn't happen, that they may have very well been the dominant species on Earth, and not
it would
us.
have been it would have been Super Mario Brothers 93.
I'll go with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No long grass, though. No long grass.
I know, but even in Jurassic Park 1, Muldoon talks about the way they hunt, which is one of them. Even Alan talks about the fact that it's one, you focus on the one who's in front of you, but you don't see the others coming or all around you. So they are pack hunters.
Yeah. But this is all about, because at the beginning they were talking about, and then when Billy had the 3D printer, they were talking about the vocalization.
Yeah.
And how they could
which
essentially talk to one another.
It did go with what was being discovered in the science, and they did go a little bit more science, not fantasy, but science fact.
Yeah,
like
then you
doing
five
years in the future. Yeah. And that shot with the raptor looking directly coming around looking, it's just, like the camera work in this is so good.
Yeah. And again, the CGI in this, like the era it came out in, with the lighting too, because the lighting is very in the forest. It is darker.
And then you get those harsh shafts of light.
Yeah, it's more. But then the close-ups are animatronic, so you don't get those obvious CGI moments.
Yeah. And this whole thing with it just shows that they are tacticians.
Yes.
They move in herds. They do move in herds. That was like that moment.
Pretty much. Kind of reminds me of my dog barking at like another dog in another yard. It's like, what are you saying?
See, for me, whenever our dog Poe, he barks, I don't think, what are you saying? All I'm there is going, why?
Why are you saying?
Why are you so vehement about saying it vehemently?
Yeah, right. Oh,
come on, Alan.
Hold your hands up. No, hold
your hands up.
No, here's the cover photo for the episode.
Oh yeah, but Alan, I mean, if he should have just held his hands up. He should have held up his hands.
He could have.
That's what Owen told us. You come across any wild animal, hold your hand up; it won't attack.
Except we later find out that he's been training them since infancy. So,
well, we don't all have that luxury, do we?
and if Vincent D'Onofrio taught us anything, you don't hold your hands up to every animal.
Well, no, you don't hold your hand up if you are a scumbag who is trying to use them for evil. You know, if you are noble of heart, the raptor will not attack.
Oh man, this sounds like some sort of like Dragon Age fantasy novel.
Well, originally, How to Train Your Dragon was going to be How to Train Your Dinosaur.
Was it?
Yeah, but they realized raptors are way scarier. You can't make a raptor cute.
No.
So they swapped it to dragons because apparently dragons are cuter.
I mean, ones without teeth are apparently.
Hell, even Baby Blue is not cute.
No.
But during Fallen Kingdom, they try their hardest to make those little baby CG raptors look cute as hell, and they fail miserably.
Oh, 100%. Because then you also get the Indoraptor, and that's, you know.
Baby Indoraptor is not cute. Maybe a baby Indominus Rex. Hell, baby T-Rex in Lost World wasn't cute.
No. The cute baby was Triceratops.
Yeah. Sad,
like
cute
like
baby Triceratops.
Like a little cow.
Yeah.
I like cows. That was a Brachiosaurus, but, you know. JP1. No. Okay. Oh, here's a callback to the first movie. Yeah. So that's why he's a hard ass on him now. And
yeah. Which makes sense.
He's been disenfranchised. He's had his heart hardened.
No, I was about to say he has not been disenfranchised yet because he's still part of the franchise.
Hey!
Hey! Now, okay, if T-Rex P is as potent as they make it out to be, and the only way you could get T-Rex P is to stand under it while it's peeing, his clothes, he himself should be reeking of T-Rex P.
There was a pee moment like that in Will Ferrell's The Lost, in Land of the Lost.
And did he stink for the rest of the movie?
He said in order to completely disappear, he covers himself in it.
And
he's like, whoa, that's early morning stuff right there. And he goes, now to get it in our bloodstream. And he starts chugging it. And he goes, oh, don't do that. Oh, immediately regret. And he's like, it's in my eyes. He goes, oh, that's some early morning stuff. And
that's Will Ferrell.
Yeah. And then he dumps more on it to wash it away. And he goes, instantly made it worse.
But you didn't answer the question for the rest of the movie. Did he reek to high heaven?
There is a scene where there's Allosaurus and a T-Rex fighting each other, and they both stop and then just look at him. And then Danny McBride's character in it goes, oh, who would have thought this is the one time that dumping urine on yourself wasn't a good idea? And then it only chases him. It only chases Will Ferrell.
And then coming from Danny McBride, that would be actually hilarious.
Yeah, it's the only, or this is one of those times, whatever he says. Yeah, that's a fun movie. That's a good time. You have to not have a preconditioned hate of Will Ferrell.
It's not preconditioned. And I don't hate Will Ferrell.
Let's make that perfectly clear.
According to you, I hate a lot of American comedians, and I don't. I'm indifferent.
I don't enjoy them. That doesn't mean I hate them.
Yeah. I haven't met him to be able to hate him yet.
I like William H. here.
Yeah. Oh no, this is a really nice tender moment between the two of them.
He's like,
And you believe it. That's the other thing. You believe though.
oh,
You
you
believe
believe,
these
yeah,
two
you
were.
believe them.
That's the thing. You could never
You
believe
believe
Ian
him for
Malcolm.
sure. Like
Yeah.
he's 100% believable.
Yeah. And she's doing
She's
great
too.
as well. Like you
She's
believe
good.
these two were a couple, unlike
Yeah.
Harding and Malcolm, or Malcolm and his daughter.
They like they don't, I wouldn't say they look like, just based on looks, they don't look like a couple that you would be portrayed in a Hollywood movie.
Yeah, no.
But the way they act totally sells it.
Yeah.
And then you look past it where, like I said, the first time you see them in the restaurant, she's also dressed up a little more there, so she looks a little, because they're supposed to look
she's a little
rich.
uncomfortable as well.
Yes. Well, they're also supposed to look the part. They're supposed to look rich because
Yeah.
they're hiring them. But the more you watch the movie, the more you're like, really, like, yeah, you're dead set. Like, yeah, they're great. And honestly, yeah, the Billy character kind of doesn't do it for me either.
Yeah, no. I mean,
He's the one character right now,
and I don't know if it's the way he's written or if it's the actor.
or
both.
I think it's both, because when he's introduced, he's a college student.
He's flirting with this girl. He's supposed to be a mixture of Alan. He's supposed to be the mixture of Alan and Ian Malcolm.
Yeah, but he's built up as something more than he is.
Yeah,
and then he's never given the opportunity to do much of anything except for what's supposed to be his redemption later in the movie.
Yeah,
but even then, it kind of falls short because you don't really care.
I think with a bit of a rewrite and a better actor, Billy would actually be a memorable character where you could see him going on to lead the next movie.
I mean, honestly, it's also a Latin actor being named Billy. It's a little weird. It's like a little like, what?
Well, no, because his name could be Guillermo, which is Spanish for William, which therefore Billy.
I mean, then they just needed a different name and not Guillermo Billy.
Well, no, they needed a different, because honestly, Alexander,
it's kind of like an action hero named Doug. It just doesn't work.
It could work. No, it could work with the right. Like, the problem with Prisoner of the Sun, and for those who don't know the reference to Doug, that's from Prisoners of the Sun, a movie.
It's always going to bother me. It's always going to bother me.
Here's the thing: in a better movie with a better actor, it would work, because that movie is played 100% serious. If you do a bit more of a tongue-in-cheek, almost like a Mel Brooksian parody, you could get away with Doug.
Yeah, or if it's just like a Harryhausen style, like,
yes.
Yeah.
If it's just 100% leaning into this is dumb fun, you could get away with Doug as your lead character.
Yeah,
but because Prisoners of the Sun is so serious, it doesn't work.
Yeah, if it's like a Sci-Fi Channel original, and it's supposed to be campy,
or a Savage Press original.
Yeah, if it's just supposed to be campy,
Well, I always remembered when I got the contract, my first contract with Savage Press, I showed it to Dad. I told Dad about Savage Press, and he looked them up. And I get a message from him a little later on saying, I just scrolled through a bunch of their covers on their website. I said, yeah. He goes, great covers, kick-ass covers, straight to sci-fi movie level covers. I said, and he goes, no, it's awesome.
Yeah.
But I do think the biggest problem with character Billy is the actor. He's not a memorable actor. I
also don't like Eric.
The kid?
Yeah,
I know. But it's a kid actor. It's a kid in this. These movies don't need children.
No.
And honestly, I can't believe this kid survived for this long on the island by himself.
Well, that's part of it. That's part of it. And honestly, it's and they don't need to be like as heavily involved as Eric is in this one, because even the kids in Jurassic Park who were, like this small of a cast essentially, didn't feel as.
No, they weren't like, okay, so
like really, their opinion didn't matter.
No, here it does.
Yeah.
It's the same as in Jurassic World. You don't care about the kids, yet they get shoved in your face so much.
So like perfect. Okay, so perfect example. Right now, replace Billy with Udesky, Michael Jeter, and just have Jeter here through the whole movie.
And then his reasoning for taking the eggs is monetary.
Yeah,
proper monetary. Like he's going to get something out of this. That
but
works.
he also helps with lightening up the tense moments, and it's not
Yeah.
William H. Macy.
Yeah,
Which is
because
fine. Macy's great at it, but Jeter is better.
yeah, and yeah, Billy is like
Udesky's
yeah.
better.
I mean, I still think you could replace the actor more than anything else, and he would be better.
Honestly, I just don't think the college kid, like, you needed somebody because of so this is
You
where I think
needed
they,
someone a bit more badass.
well, no, but this is where I think they wrote themselves into a little bit of a corner too, because they had this great idea for, and it was a good idea, because how else is Alan supposed to react to what he went
Yeah,
through? He's supposed
yeah.
to be hardened and disheartened.
So you
And
need to have how Alan was. You need that mirror.
well, you also need somebody to convince Alan that this is a good idea to go. And that has to be the shiny-eyed Billy.
But also,
It can't be Alan by himself, because Alan, no matter, there's no money on earth that he would have accepted without Billy convincing him that to go.
But then the issue becomes the way they get Alan onto the island by lying to him and offering him money. Like they say, "Oh, we can write. We'll fund your digs. We can write
It
any."
wouldn't have worked if he was alone. It wouldn't have worked if he was
but
alone.
here's the
He
thing,
was
though.
pressured by Billy too.
But here's the thing, though. He's already been through that with Hammond. Hammond in the first movie says,
Yeah,
"I will fund your dig for the next 6 years if you do this."
3 years.
Here, here it's the exact same thing. So they're reusing a plot tactic. Now,
Yeah.
I understand why, because they've set up that he needs the money. And Billy's reasoning for taking the eggs is also because, yeah, I think it would work, but I just don't believe Billy, the actor portraying Billy, is
No,
this.
and like I said, we've talked about it. He is the one, like,
He and Eric are the two things that drag the movie down.
even Eric is fine because you kind of expect it from Jurassic and Spielberg with the kids. So it's like I expect there to be a kid in it, and I just have to be kind of okay with it. But with Billy, it's that, but it's also like from start to finish, he's just unnecessary. And that's like the character is. It's not even, oh, let's recast it. It's
No,
like,
yeah, you're
I can't imagine they couldn't come up with another way to get Alan on the island without the kid.
Okay, this is how you do it. Okay, so this is what you do. If you're going to take Billy out of the movie.
Yeah.
So you take Billy out of the movie. We're going to replace Billy with Michael Jeter's character with Udesky. How do you get Alan onto the island? That's easy. That's easy. He has the meeting with William H. Macy and Tia Leone. He says, "Thank you, but no thank you. You doesn't matter how many zeros you write on that check. I'm not going back." We then cut to him outside the restaurant, walking to his car. He gets black bagged and knocked out.
I was about to say, or you do the whole Last Crusade.
Who's the one who's been taken along then? It has to be Ellie.
Yeah. No, well, the idea is you get, actually, you could do a combination of Last Crusade and Lost World, and you just have Ellie Sattler.
But Ellie is not a paleontologist. She's a paleobotanist. So
No,
she would not be useful.
No, but because of her experience on the first island.
But they actively say, we need you because you're a dinosaur expert. She is not a dinosaur expert.
Maybe
so what you do,
maybe
you do
they think she is and they hire the wrong person.
No, you do the reverse. It's Alan who's been kidnapped originally, and he's the one who's on the island, and Ellie's got to go in to save him.
Yeah.
Because she's got the connections to the US government. So we're just going to rewrite the movie. So we're rewriting the movie at the moment. We're not even going to bother trying to.
Yeah, because you have to get him to the island. Like I said, the only way that makes sense that he's here is because of Billy.
Yeah, so if you take Billy out of the movie, then you have to.
Because they've already said there's nothing on heaven or earth that could get him on this island.
So they have to kidnap him.
Yeah.
So now, if you actually start the movie with Alan being kidnapped, and the original, Alan gets kidnapped. See, you can't have him kidnapped in the prologue. He's got to be kidnapped in Act 1. The prologue still has to be the prologue still has to be getting trapped on the island. That's still your prologue, because that's the catalyst for Tia Leone and William H. Macy then to kidnap Alan.
Yeah.
So that's
it's not
Act
really
1.
kidnap. It would be more that he is kidnapped, and that was not the plan. It was hire him and bring him in, but
and because he said no, Udesky, Cooper, and Nash, they take it into their own hands because they want to get paid.
Yeah, and it was the same thing. We did not. What does he say? We did not. We did not say kidnap. Like Jeter was yelling at him. Udesky was yelling at him. I did not say kidnap him.
So we have that. So then you can then cut to them on the plane. The plane crashes.
Because it shows you that Jeter's character was actually not a bad guy. He was just kind of.
So what you do is you can have Nash or Cooper die. You still have Nash or Cooper die.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff.
Udesky still survives, and then you can have whoever's left. If it's Nash or Cooper, whoever's left, they're the ones who take the eggs. You don't make Michael Jeter your villain. He's still your comic relief. But if, let's say, Cooper dies,
he could
Nash survives.
Die, but like having him now would be.
Nash is the one who takes the eggs, and he takes the eggs for one reason, and it's money. He's getting that payday. That's how you rewrite it to keep the movie the way it is.
I could see Cooper doing it just because Cooper already had a little bit of that like edge.
All right, so Cooper's the one who does it.
There's like a little bit of that murk in him.
Yep. So Cooper does it. Now that's if you're rewriting the movie to keep it as is, and we're taking Billy out. If we're going to do a page, this was great. But if we're going to do a page 1 rewrite, then you have it be Alan's on the island for some reason. Yeah. He's been trapped there. And you go with the most tropey, cliched thing, which is he's been kidnapped by a local cartel boss who wants to go on the island. Kind of like Pablo Escobar with his exotic animals. There's a cartel boss who wants a dinosaur, and he's kidnapped Alan to help him get it. That's your opening. And then it's all about Ellie putting together a government team to go and save him and capture the cartel boss. That's the page 1 rewrite version, and really even more creature feature fun.
Yeah, because the U.S. government or whatever government wouldn't go in
just for Alan.
They would need a payday, which is the cartel.
That's right. So the payday is going to. So Ellie figures out who's kidnapped him, and is able to say, "Look, if we go get Alan, we also get this guy."
Especially when they are automatically assume everybody's probably dead, anyways.
Yep. And that's your page 1 rewrite to still keep it as fun as this movie is.
There is, so I guess the one negative about this movie, or at least a big negative about this movie, and we actually talked about it as a positive, I think it is the pacing is probably too quick in some places.
Yes, it is.
Because it does rush some of the story.
It does. But also keep in mind our ending of the movie this movie does not have an ending.
No, that's why I think with this movie being shorter, it needed that extra 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Because
to give you some more character moments. But the problem is if you make this movie 20 minutes longer, you're going to get into the issue that Lost World has, which is too slow in moments where it doesn't need to be too slow.
No, but I think it would have also helped with us caring that Billy is trying to like make up for something.
I don't think we need 20 minutes more. 10 minutes would be more than enough.
Yeah.
If you're going to do Billy, to make Billy.
Well, the reason I said 20 is because that would also give us time for a proper ending.
I'd say 10 minutes, because then you get 5 minutes for a 5-minute Billy stuff, and then a good solid 5-minute ending. You don't want an ending that drags on for too long.
Well, see, he immediately got mad at him, and then 5 minutes later was begging him not to do this. And it was like, to me, there needed to be more time in between, and that's where it needed to be.
Yeah, that's where you put that 5 minutes.
See, to me, 5 minutes still isn't enough, because 5 minutes in a movie, if depending on the scene, it is fast. 5
minutes is perfect. Because think about it. If you need to have Alan have that moment of, you need to have Alan kind of regret and go, yep, we're friends to Billy. Anything over 5 minutes is too long.
That catwalk hitting that pterodon.
And it's the same as the ending. A 5 or 10 minute ending is way better than the 20, 30 minutes we got of Lost World ending. The San Diego sequence is too long. It's too much of a good thing.
I like the San Diego sequence, but yeah,
I know,
I
I like the San Diego scene too, but it goes on for too long.
Yeah,
and there's only so
These
many
are,
quips you can have Jeff Goldblum make.
yeah, these are pteranodons, if I'm not mistaken.
Look at you, Mr. Dinosaur expert.
Well, yeah. Or like flying dinosaurs didn't have tails in the Cretaceous period, and the pteranodons had the hump, the elongated rear of the skull. So I believe it's a pteranodon, but
It is a pteranodon.
yeah. Which, I mean, they are like the quintessential flying reptile of the era.
Well, no,
So
well, actually, the quintessential flying dinosaur for every kid was a pterodactyl.
True. Which were smaller though. Pteranodons were much bigger.
Yeah. But still not as big as your Quetzalcoatlus.
It's true.
Which we're getting in Rebirth, and I know you're so happy for that.
I am, but I don't like the design from what I've seen. So we'll see.
Oh, there's just no pleasing you with dinosaur movies these days.
No, the Quetzalcoatlus in Dominion was perfect.
Oh yeah,
that was perfect.
Keep in mind,
that was a description.
But keep in mind, Rebirth is set on an island where we're having a mutant dinosaur. Come on.
And from what I understand, there's supposed to be multiple. It's not just the one, the D-Rex.
But that's the thing. We're now in the era. We're in an era of Jurassic Park where they're kind of going, screw what could be, screw reality. But granted, the voice had screwed reality.
Yeah. No, I'm okay.
You know
with
what? I do kind of like my page one rewrite idea of Jurassic Park 3, where it's the drug lord, and I do like that. I do like my page one rewrite.
Smell a novel.
Shut up.
I smell a novel with Roland Tembo Jr.
Ooh.
Just saying.
See, this is the problem with talking to you. This is the problem with talking to you. You get the creative juices flowing. And also, most ideas I come up with when we're talking, you're like, oh, that's a good idea. You should write it.
It's just because I know I'm not going to have the time to do it, and it sounds like a cool idea, and I don't like it when cool ideas get wasted.
No, it is a cool idea, isn't it? It actually is really cool.
Cool ideas that get wasted are basically bad movies that have potential. Because you're like, that was my god, they was like,
it's the potential. Like Prisoner of the Sun has had potential.
Yeah. Until you had
actually you know what? Actually, a better example of a movie with potential that we've watched, Primal.
Yeah. Primal was
it was great because Nicolas Cage is playing an asshole in that movie, and he's not perfect, but that movie was still a frustrating experience, and it could have been so much better.
It was also so strange because there was only one bit of music in the entire 90-minute movie.
Yeah, the opening and the closing.
The opening and closing. Yeah. There was no soundtrack.
I know. There's no score. I know.
No score. It was so quiet all the time, and it was so unnerving and weird.
It worked though because it was so tense. It made us more on edge.
It also worked because it kept the budget down.
Yeah, true. Now I have to admit, this is probably one of the few scenes in the movie I don't like. This riverboat stuff, where it's just nice and relaxed. I understand it's there because you got to have that moment of calm.
I like this where he's describing the differences between him and Billy, and
this is good. Yeah, this is good. But this part coming up right now, where we get the Spielbergian. Oh,
yeah, you need the reminder that it's not all bad.
We had that already when Alan looks out the plane window.
True, but
and the music
nothing had happened yet.
I know, but
nothing had happened yet. That was just a reintroduction to the island, more or less.
But just after everything they've been through, though, they've been chased from moment one, nearly killed multiple times. I could see this and still go, yeah, this island.
You better have a duck quack in there, mister. That was 1915.
Oh
my gosh. What am I going to do with you?
Hey, it's your fault. You're the one who said you wanted me to drink.
Wow. such a lightweight.
No, I'm not. I'm actually doing pretty good. It's just I forget that I'm not allowed to swear on the show.
It's 1 a.m. here, and this is number 4.
4 of what?
Between beers and seltzers.
Ah.
I think
If it was like number 4 of tequila, I'd be like, dude, you're holding it well. You could be an Australian.
Honorary Aussie.
Honorary Aussie. That's what everyone wants to be. Now, this is good though.
Oh, this is also a great callback to the first movie.
It is, but just trying to find the satellite phone and just having to go through the heaping pile is good. It's just,
well, he grabs the femur and then the sunglasses, and you're sitting here going, "Oh my god, that's Cooper."
Yes,
because that was his. He was wearing sunglasses.
But also, how quickly was he digested? How powerful is a Spinosaurus's and this is probably one of the best fourth wall breaks in any movie.
Yeah.
Up there with Young Frankenstein. And the only time Jurassic Park went there, you could have totally gotten away with it in Dominion,
and them looking down at like their hand, they're just like,
yeah. I mean, in Fallen Kingdom, they could have gotten away with a fourth wall break like that.
Oh no.
In Fallen Kingdom, you could
have.
Not Dominion and not Jurassic World, because those were still trying to be semi-serious. But Fallen Kingdom, you could have. The Indoraptor. So cool. Actually, no, the Indoraptor does stare at the camera when it's playing possum to Ted Levine.
Yeah, he does.
So they do it. Ha! Sorry,
you can't take.
I just proved myself right.
Yeah, you took credit for something that isn't even.
I proved myself right.
You proved yourself right, but you didn't do anything.
I still proved myself right. See.
No, you just forgot, and then you celebrated when you remembered.
And
no,
I know I could be in politics.
I don't know. In Australia, it seems like anybody can.
Seems like in the US you can as well.
That's also true.
Yeah. So what are you having to go at my politics for? My country's politics for, eh?
That's also true.
This is a good sequence.
Yeah, it's just a Jaws. That's just a Jaws homage.
But this is actually from the first book. In the first book, there's a T-Rex river scene, which we're supposed to
be getting in Rebirth.
Yeah, which I'm so I'm looking forward to Rebirth. I can't wait for us to both watch it and then we can talk about it.
Yeah, like big budget Hollywood movies. Like I said, I've talked about it several times. There hasn't been one I've been this excited for with Rebirth in a while.
Yeah. Well, see, on next Tuesday for me, I'm seeing Mission Impossible with my dad. So, that's we're both fans of that series. We both like Tom Cruise as an actor. Don't care what you think of him as a person. As an actor and producer, he's good.
Yeah. Is that what is that one called?
It's a Mission Impossible. It's not Dead Reckoning Part 2. It's something. It's the Final Reckoning.
It was supposed to be Dead Reckoning Part 2, but then
they changed the name to the Final Reckoning.
Gotcha.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and then the next one. This is supposed to be the last one, right?
That's what Paramount has been saying, and Tom Cruise has said if it does well, we don't know.
Yeah,
because Tom Cruise very much listens to the box office and the fans.
Well, as he should.
Yeah. And now, if you and I did that, if we listened to the fans of our stuff, I don't know what we would be writing. Actually, I know what you'd be writing. You'd be writing just 2 things, really.
Well, it's kind of what I am doing. Just different versions of each other.
True.
Archaeological thrillers.
And dinosaurs.
And beasties. Oh, because technically there's not many dinosaurs, or really, there's a few, but there's not many dinosaurs in Dark Island.
So you're going with. So you're really it's archaeological thrillers and
they're just ancient creatures.
Well, let's say creature feature. Let's just say creature feature.
Creature thriller.
Sorry, creature thriller. Creature thriller. Sorry, I remember the day we had that big discussion. So
the creature thrillers aren't standout campy.
Yeah,
they're supposed to be serious stories with Yes.
Yeah, you write creature thrillers. I write creature features. And for a
Yep.
fun time, viewers,
For a fun
go
time,
onto
go right.
Matt's Facebook page, go onto his author Facebook page, and just say, look, just say something like, "I'm looking forward to your next creature feature," just to see if you get reaction. Although I have to admit, Fracture is more of a creature feature than Dark Island.
I mean, it's a
With
survival thriller with dinosaurs, so I
the
guess
amount of beasties in that book, it's a creature feature.
it features creatures, but it's not a creature feature.
No, it's a creature feature. I've read it. Trust me, it's a creature feature.
If a creature feature could feature creatures, does a creature feature creatures?
And woodchuck could chuck wood. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck?
Exactly. That was great. This thing just headbutting the crane. Great sequence. This whole
Oh,
thing.
yeah. Like, and
The
what gets me,
mixture with the animatronics with
yeah, and the CGI and everything. But what gets me is
but
that we're
because of
so,
the lighting and the rain, the CGI, it looks fine because it's not
yeah,
super
yeah.
focused and contrasted.
But the thing that annoys me is we got this great sequence, then we get another 20 minutes, and then the movie's over.
Yeah.
This is,
I told you it needs another 20 minutes.
15 at most, I'd say, not 20. Just give me
Well, if it's
15 more.
spread out throughout the entire movie, I think we would be fine.
Okay, yeah. If you're going to do 20 minutes at the very, like a sort of 20 minutes at the end, then I'm like, nah.
No. It would be because you need to build Billy up a little more. You need a better ending.
So yeah, take the 20
You need
minutes,
this, you need
put it
that.
throughout the rest of the movie. Yeah, okay, I can see it then.
Yeah.
And the thing that gets me is that that's the end of our Spinosaurus. A little fire, he runs off, and we never see him again. Come on. And this is like Indiana Jones 3 moment. Everyone thinks he's dead and he's still alive.
Yeah.
But of course, William H. Macy, he's got to say something.
Of course. This is such a great, just nothing conversation, but it works.
Well, it's them reconnecting a bit more.
Yeah.
Because really, this movie
but
is
it's his
not.
delivery. His delivery is so dry.
I know. Well, this movie is about a family reconnecting and coming together. That's what this movie's about.
So the tow truck driver wanted to knock my lights out, and then at the end is I miss fishing. It's just like it's so like squirrel. Like it's so like.
But as I said, this movie is really about a family coming together again and rejoining. Just like Transformers 1 is a movie about a boy in his car.
You just see you bring that up as much as
I hate it. It's Transformers. It's not John Hughes. It's not John Hughes' Transformers. Same as this. This is not a family coming together. This is creatures. This is survival.
When has running out in the open worked in this movie? You're supposed to.
I know. Well, they're not really out in the open. It's just a clearing in the jungle.
Yeah.
But we still need to have that, the closure of the eggs and everything. And honestly, this should have been the moment Billy has his redemption because he gives up the eggs himself. Or he sacrifices himself. He gets eaten while giving the eggs up so the others can escape. Something like that.
Or this is where Jeter is supposed to get his end.
Yeah.
If Jeter's still around because he's the thief, or Cooper because
no, it'd be Cooper. Cooper is the one. Cooper. This is where he has that moment where he realizes.
Oh no. He's not going to be the hero in this aspect. This is just where this is his comeuppance.
Yeah, it's like Benny. It's Benny and Mummy 99.
This is his Benny.
You beat me to it.
There's no way that Tia Leone took this without being, oh my god, I can't do this again. Like, you could see it in her like body language. This was uncomfortable.
Yeah. Well, by all accounts, those raptor animatronics they look scary as hell in real life, up close and personal. So yeah. You got one of those coming down and looming over you and just tapping you and sniffing you, even though it's not real. There's part of you that's going, I've got to run. I got to get away
It's just
from
an
this thing.
uncomfortable experience too. You just have this thing like breathing and rubbing on you, and
Yeah.
it's mechanical, which there's an inherent
And
danger.
and no one really likes to be breathed on and rubbed against.
Breathed on, maybe, yeah.
I suppose that depends on who's breathing and rubbing.
I don't want to really be breathed on it in any,
Oh, come on. You haven't woken up in the middle of the night having your dog or your cat sitting on you or looming over you, breathing on you, trying to will you to wake up.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you've had that with your kids as well.
Yeah.
I remember one night.
Scares the ever living hell out of me sometimes. I
Oh,
see this looming over me, laying in bed, and I wake up and I'm like, oh, it's like
this one was Titus. So for those who don't know, Titus is a 56 actually kilogram Italian Mastiff that lives with my parents. And when I used to live with them, he would sleep in my room. And there was one night I woke up to this heavy breathing and it, just big, giant, massive black face, this giant thing that could kill you looming over me. It was the scariest thing ever. And then when I realized it was Titus, I was like, oh, get off the bed.
120 something pounds, 130 something pounds.
Yeah. Oh, he's a big boy. And this is so silly where it's just the lone G-man. That's a nice throwback to the start with her in the megaphone.
Yeah.
But really.
So they dropped him and then brought the Marines in.
But there's that thing where you're watching this going, Marines versus dinos. This is what we want. This is awesome. We're going to get guns blazing. They're going to go scorched earth. Yeah. And we don't get it. It's the biggest tease. Billy should not have survived. He should have died.
Again, it's fine as long as we have a better connection to the character.
Yes, and we don't have we have no connection to Billy. The only character we have a real connection, characters.
And right now he's on a lot of morphine.
Oh yeah, he could be saying yeah.
And this was the only Jurassic Park movie, Jurassic World movie that was not directly linked to InGen.
Yep.
Which also may have made it feel
and here, okay, so these pterodons, they're flying to the mainland. That's where they're heading to, right?
I'd assume so.
And yet they make Fallen Kingdom out to be they're in the mainland. They've already hit the mainland.
Yeah, they weren't in the mainland in Jurassic World, apparently.
No. So we must have missed something where they killed them. They rounded them up and killed them already.
I mean, the only other thing I can think of too is
well, it is Costa Rica, and maybe they just went, yeah, we don't care.
Yeah. Or they might not be going to the mainland. They could just be going from island to island because of how far it is to the mainland.
Oh, true. Okay, I didn't think about that. I'll give you that.
Because it's what, 80 miles?
At the start of the movie, it said 237 miles off the coast of Costa Rica.
Yeah, I don't think these things are going to be flying 230 something miles.
No. So where are they flying to? Because they're up high now.
It's just called the end of the movie.
It's a great movie, but the ending always leaves me wanting more.
Yeah, again, it's not JP1, it's not Jurassic World, it's not Fallen Kingdom. It's not movies where I can sit there and go, I felt good. Like I was like,
no,
I was all in.
This is the only movie I want more of.
Yes. 100%. Yeah.
Whereas Jurassic World,
we needed less.
Well, Lost World, we needed less. Jurassic World 1 and Dominion.
No, Lost World, we just needed different.
But even Jurassic World 1 and Dominion, I could say I could go with less of those movies. Fallen Kingdom is the only one I'm like 100% all the way through.
Yeah, see, that's just our differing opinions on Jurassic World. I love that movie, so it's.
I know, but you're a nostalgia whore.
I am. Ghostbusters Afterlife. I'm a nostalgia guy.
I still
love.
haven't seen Frozen Empire.
I haven't either. And honestly, I was going to see it, but then the initial reviews, because the initial reviews for Afterlife were awesome.
Well, my parents saw.
I also saw it opening weekend, so
my
but
parents
the initial
saw.
reviews for Empire or Frozen
Yeah,
Empire were
my
not
parents
good.
saw Frozen Empire, and you know what they said? They went, "It was okay."
Yeah.
They literally go, "It was okay."
Well, when Jason Reitman did
Wasn't
not
directing it.
yeah, when he did not return as director, I was kind of out.
Yeah.
And that's just because I understand storytelling and industry and stuff. And I'm like, well, we're not going to get the same feel.
It's not going to be the same quality.
And that was
either.
Afterlife. It was the feel of Ivan Reitman's Ghostbusters 2. So, but anyways.
So that was Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah, that was not Ghostbusters Afterlife or Frozen Empire.
No, this was Jurassic Park 3, which I have to admit, the more I watch it, the more I go, yeah, it's still like top 3 movies for me in Jurassic World, in the Jurassic saga.
No, this is definitely fourth for me. But
nice. Okay, so what's your? We didn't talk our rankings, or do we want to save that for the very end?
No, I mean I don't think it really matters. We could also, rehash it after Dominion.
So what's your ranking of the movies?
So my ranking is Jurassic Park. Then there's like a blank. And that's just because of the esteem that I hold Jurassic Park in. It's not because I don't like no, because it's like, yeah, you can rank them 1, 2, 3, and 4, but how close are 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 from 1?
No, we don't want. No, it doesn't matter how close they are. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What's your ranking?
It's Jurassic Park, and then I could like, depending on my mood, I could flip Jurassic World and Fallen Kingdom back and forth for 2 and 3. But usually it's Jurassic World 2, and because I love the Indominus Rex. I just think it's such a great dino villain. Right. It's just in the, Fallen Kingdom's amazing. So it's like, again, I could flip those back and forth and I would be fine.
Okay.
And then it would be JP3. And then honestly, now it's kind of one of those things where the parts of Dominion that I love, do they outweigh the parts of Lost World that I love? And it's like, because both movies have so much I don't like.
Yeah.
So it's like, again, I think you could flip a coin and go, which one do you like better between Lost World?
See, for me, I'm much more cutthroat.
5 and 6.
See, I'm
not as cutthroat. I'm not as cutthroat. No, because there are parts of all of them that I do like.
See, it goes for me. It goes Fallen Kingdom is number 1. Then it goes Jurassic Park. Then it's JP3. Then it's Dominion. Then it's Jurassic World. And then at the very bottom is Lost World.
Yeah, there's no.
I put Dominion over Jurassic World 1 because I have more fun with certain parts of Dominion, whereas all of Jurassic World, I go, this could have been better.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to Dominion, but there's so much with Dominion that I didn't like that
there's a lot I don't like with Dominion, but the things I like.
I'll literally watch the first 5 Jurassic movies, and then I just don't watch Dominion.
I see. If I watch Dominion, I watch like a couple of sequences, but those sequences to me are perfect as they are. So that elevates it over Jurassic World, where Jurassic World consistently, I sit there and go, this could have just been just slightly better if they had.
The only movie I fast forward through is Two Towers.
That's not a Jurassic movie.
No, but I don't watch movies because I know I'm going to fast forward through them.
Yeah, fair enough.
I just don't watch.
I haven't watched the I haven't watched the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I haven't watched the Hobbit trilogy in like forever. I know we tried to watch the Hobbit movies, you and I, and that just failed.
Yeah, no, I watch them. I actually watch them regularly.
I know, but it failed with me because I just couldn't keep my mouth trapped about how much I hated it and all the problems I had and all the issues. And I think we did. I think we did like 80% of the first movie, and we just never went back to the sequels.
Yeah, I love that first movie. That first movie.
I know you do.
So good. It's so good.
Those were wasted potential.
I don't care.
Anyway,
I don't care if they're cash grabs. They're fun.
Oh no, it goes beyond being a cash grab. No, seriously, no, because it actually screwed New Zealand over.
Because they
had to change. They changed a law because Warner Bros. Threatened to pull the movie from New Zealand, and to make sure Warner Bros. Said changed
they
a
just
labor
did
law.
that. Well, they just did that with Rings of Power season 3. Whatever the newer
Yeah.
season is, they pulled production from. That was part of why seasons 1 and 2 cost $1 billion.
Yeah.
For Amazon is because season 2, it was season 2. Season 2 was filmed in the UK,
Yeah.
and they
And
had to rebuild all the sets and do everything from scratch in the UK, so it cost a
and
fortune.
in New
And then
Zealand
they
with the,
absolutely destroyed everything that series was about.
but the thing with the Hobbit was they changed the labor law. So basically, the studios had all the power, and the unions, the Actors Equity, and all that had nothing. Like, it ruined a lot of the film industry in New Zealand. That's the thing about the Hobbit movies. There's a lot when you learn about the history of making that movie, you sit there and go, oh, that's tainted. But also, I did think they were good to begin with. Anyway, so next week, well, next time on the show,
And if we know one thing, you only want good taint.
yeah. So next time on the show, if you're still with us at this point, we are continuing our run through the Jurassic Park movies. Now we've done Jurassic Park, we're going to start the sequel trilogy with
Jurassic World trilogy. Yeah.
Jurassic World. So tune in next time for, I think it's going to be a good conversation just because of our differing opinion on the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. And like,
although the things we agree on, we
other,
really agree on.
yeah, and all of the other Jurassic movies, there's a lot
And
of
just
there's a lot of parts because it's a Spielberg Jurassic movie. There's a lot of stuff that
I know, but also if you're tuning in just to hear us talk about the movie, great. But if you're also enjoying all the other banter and all the other things we talk about, even better, because there's more of that coming. So
yeah, and
I'm,
please,
I'm
I mean, we should probably do this earlier in the episode, but in the comments, we need to talk about the comments. Leave some comments of movies that you know that we're gonna like that you want us to talk about, because there are, we have set ground rules for us, is that we are gonna do movies that most of the movies we're going to be doing are movies that Rich and I have seen that we
yeah. So
like.
no obscure European thing no one's ever seen. No art
No art
house
house.
movies.
Yeah, no.
We are mainstream whores.
Yes. Yeah. No, you're right.
So
You're right.
So
but yeah,
I'm
we hope you
I'm
enjoyed.
I'm Richard F. Patton. This is Matt James.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing the ending, so shut up. I started to do the ending earlier, and you overrode me talking about the damn comments.
No, but
I mean, if we're going to talk about the comments, then let's do this properly. Ready? So I'm Richard F. Patton. This is Matt James. This was Second Draft Cinema, episode 3. And like, subscribe, and follow us.
Leave a comment. Good night, everyone. We'll see you next time.